Hello and welcome to this FPL Gameweek 10 watchlist video with me, Holly Shand. I'm saving my team selection until Tuesday just so that we've seen the conclusion of FPL Gameweek 9. So in today's special video, I'm going to be picking out 5 players that impressed me during Gameweek 9 that I've added to my FPL watchlist. Now, it's charity week on the channel. All revenue will go to Cancer Research UK this week, so you are supporting just by watching this video. But if you're a new subscriber, I'll also put 10p into the pot. Hit that like button as well to get this video out to more people. And you can also use the super thanks and channel memberships if you want to increase your donation. Let's get into it. Now, the first name on my watch list is Manchester City's Phil Foden. After that hat-trick in the derby, I was really impressed with his performance, and I'm a little bit worried now because I'm already tripled up on Manchester City assets with Cancelo, De Bruyne and Haaland. Obviously, Haaland is a lock in all of our teams, just phenomenal. But am I on the right triple up? De Bruyne and Cancelo, is that the way to go? Or do I need to find space somehow for Foden instead of one of those two? It's something that I need to consider. Now, that relationship with Haaland is clearly coming to the fore. Haaland assisted for 2 of Foden's goals, and we've seen it in recent weeks, that relationship coming to the fore. Foden more of the assister for Haaland. It's nice to see those roles interchange, and I'm excited to see what this pair can do for the rest of the season. My gut feeling right now is that a Man City attacking triple up could be the way to go with De Bruyne, Foden and Haaland. But obviously the blank in the fixture schedule in game week 12 does make it a little bit more challenging. We saw Foden increase in price overnight to 8.1 million, so that's something to keep in mind. And also Foden led the way for shots in game week 9 with 6 and shots on target with 4. So plenty of promise there in Foden's underlying numbers. And apart from the blank, the fixtures are looking very good. I mean, we've got Southampton, Brighton, Leicester and Fulham in the next 6 fixtures. The clash with Liverpool in game week 11 is a bit more difficult to call, but on current form, Manchester City have to be the favourites in that game. A lot of managers fell into the trap of not going with Haaland captain in game week 9 because they were worried about Manchester United's form in the derby. We now know Manchester City, best team in the Premier League right now, best attack in the Premier League, most likely to score the goals. It is fine to back them in any fixture. They are absolutely fixture proof. Another player coming straight onto my watch list after scoring a hat-trick in game week 9 was Leandro Trossard. Some managers will have had 3 players that all scored a hat-trick in game week 9. I've seen quite a few 100 scores out there, but Trossard really impressed me. It was hard to know what to expect from Brighton. They hadn't played since Graham Potter left because they had fixtures postponed, so game week 9 was our first glimpse of how they could perform. It was Trossard's first hat-trick in the Premier League. In fact, it was his first brace for Brighton as well. So that's something to note, that we haven't seen this goal-scoring form from him in the past. So it could be a little bit of a fluke. But when a player scores a hat-trick, they have to go on the watch list. He's already increased in price overnight to 6.7 million, which is well deserved, and his underlying numbers were really promising as well. He was top for shots on target with 4, also top for big chances with 4, and expected goals at 1.79. All of this data is coming from Fantasy Football Hub, which this channel is powered by. The tricky bit with Brighton is their upcoming fixtures. Then don't look like the most enticing fixture list. Most of Brighton's good fixtures have been and gone now. So it's Spurs, Brentford, Forest, Manchester City, Chelsea, Wolves. I mean, Forest and Wolves are probably good fixtures to target against, but other than that, the fixture schedule is looking quite bleak. But this mid-price midfielder bracket is one that we've been struggling with for a little while now. We had loads of cheap options. Martinelli's kind of the only one that we're really consistently rocking with. So Trossard does need to be a consideration at this price point. But with the fixtures looking the way they are, I think I'm going to leave him for now. Another player that caught my eye in game week 9 is Manchester United's Anthony Martial. He came on for a 31-minute cameo, in which time he scored a brace, so I was very impressed to see him back. And crucially, Manchester United actually won the second half at Manchester City 3-2. So we can't discount their assets. They're not going to be playing Manchester City every week, and they are a team that have been in decent form so far this season. Martial was sensational in pre-season, succumbed to injury, which was really unfortunate just as the season was about to start. But it's good to see him back, and he's certainly someone that we now need to consider. 6.9 million, he's the same price as Mitrovic. Remember, Mitrovic got injured in game week 9. We don't know what the prognosis there is, but if we're in a situation where we need to transfer Mitrovic out, Martial could be a really good alternative to go for. Those 2 goals were scored from 2 big chances. He was 5th for XG throughout the whole game week with 1.12, obviously skewed a little bit by the penalty, but the crucial thing is he was on penalties. I know Rashford had already gone off, but could Martial be first choice penalty taker at Manchester United? That could be a really enticing prospect as well. He was central, playing up front, and there was no sign of Cristiano Ronaldo as well. He was confined to the bench for the entire game. Ten Hag made lots of substitutions. Martial was one of them, Ronaldo wasn't. So that just goes to show how much esteem that Martial is held in the view of Ten Hag. We don't need to worry particularly about rotation with Ronaldo, and he's a player that could do very well for us in the upcoming game weeks. I mean, it's a great fixture next, Everton away. Then we've got Newcastle, Spurs in game week 12 is a bit of a problem because we're looking for players with good fixtures in game week 12 because we've got to get through that blank for Manchester City and Arsenal assets. So a mixed bag on the fixtures, but it could be worth the risk. Now, a performance that I felt went under the radar in game week 9 was from Newcastle United's Joe Willock, who got 2 assists in the 4-1 win against Fulham. Obviously, that game was heavily impacted by the red card for Fulham, but still a very solid performance from Willock. He was actually ranked 2nd for XA with 1.07. Again, data taken from Fantasy Football Hub, and you can click the link in the description below to get your membership to access all of these Opta stats. He was also 2nd for key passes in the game week with 4 and top for big chances created with 2. Now, they are really encouraging creative numbers, but we also need to think about his goal threat in that game as well. He had 4 shots on goal, 2 big chances, ranks him 3rd of all players. He was actually 7th for XG in the game week with 1, and he was top for expected goal involvement with 2.1. So plenty of encouragement there. Really nice price, 4.9 million midfielder, and the fixtures look really good for Newcastle going forward. They are a team in form. You can't back against them in any fixture really. They can bring a good performance. Brentford, Manchester United, Everton, Spurs, Aston Villa, Southampton. So a little bit of a mixed bag on the fixtures, but he is cheap enough to bench if you felt like you needed to in the trickier fixtures. And game week 12, Everton at home could make him a really great enabler for our squads in the blank game week. Now, the final name on my watch list is Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins. Granted, more of a fixture pick than a form pick, but there were some encouraging numbers in game week 9. Obviously a game affected by a red card for Leeds United. Some may say he was unlucky in that fixture, some could say that he was wasteful, but he was actually top for shots with 6 and shots in the box with 6, 2nd for big chances with 3, and 2nd for XG 1.54, just behind Trossard. So some encouraging numbers from Watkins, but it's the fixture schedule that's really appealing. 2 promoted teams in the next 3 in Forest and Fulham. Also got Brentford in the schedule as well. And crucially, game week 12, that week that's going to be difficult to negotiate, he's got Fulham away, which is a great fixture. He's another forward option around the same price bracket as Aleksandar Mitrovic. So if we get team news closer to the game week 10 deadline that Mitrovic is out, maybe set to be out for a period of games, then it could be that Watkins becomes a serious contender for our FPL squads. Let me know in the comments if any of my watch list players are in your transfer targets for FPL Game Week 10. Thank you so much for getting this far. It really will help to put more money in the pot for Charity Week. If you are new around here, hit the like button and hit that subscribe button as well. 10p will go into the charity pot if you've subscribed to the channel. And if you want to donate more to cancer research, make sure to look at the channel memberships or the super thanks. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back on Tuesday with my team selection. Bye for now.